after his resurrection, Jesus appeared to a number of people over several days. And just before we break bread together, as we come towards the final part of our gathering today, I want to read the very last story that Luke has in his gospel, which is about one of those times that Jesus appeared to two disciples. And you'll see they start off very discouraged and they end up very happy. So 2 disciples were going that very day, i.e. that Easter Sunday, to a village named Emmaus, which was about 7 miles from Jerusalem. And they were talking with each other about all the things that had taken place. And while they were talking and discussing, Jesus himself approached and began traveling with them. But their eyes were prevented from recognizing him. And he said to them, "What are these words that you're exchanging with one another as you're walking and talking together?" And they stood still, looking extremely sad. One of them, named Cleopas, answered him and said, "Are you the only visitor in Jerusalem today, unaware of the things which have happened?" Bit of dramatic irony going on there, of course. And he said, "What things?" And they said to him, "The things about Jesus the Nazarene, who was a prophet, mighty in deed and word in the sight of God and all the people, and how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to the sentence of death and crucified him. But we were hoping that it was he who was going to redeem Israel. Indeed, besides all this, it's the 3rd day since these things happened. But then also some women among us amazed us. When they were at the tomb in the early morning, they didn't find his body. And they came and they said they'd also seen a vision of angels that he was alive." Some of those who were with us went to the tomb and found it just exactly as the women had said, but they didn't find Jesus there. And he, that's Jesus, said to them, "O foolish men and slow of heart to believe in all that the prophets have spoken. Wasn't it necessary for the Christ to suffer these things and to enter into his glory?" And then, beginning with Moses and all the prophets, all of Jewish history, he explains to these guys the things concerning himself in all the scriptures. And they approached the village where they were going, and he acted as though he was going to go further. But they urged him, saying, "Stay with us for tonight, for it's nearly evening." So he said, "Okay," and went in with them. And when they sat at the table, and he sat at the table with them, and he took the bread, and he blessed it, and breaking it, he began giving it to them. And then their eyes were opened, and they finally recognized him. And he vanished. They said to one another, "Weren't our hearts burning within us while he was speaking to us on the road, while he was explaining the scriptures to us?" And at that very hour, as late as it was, they rushed back to Jerusalem and found gathered together the 11 disciples and those who were with them, saying, "The Lord has really risen and has appeared to Simon." And they all began to relate their experiences on the road and how he was recognized by them in the breaking of the bread. There's a little bit more, but that's virtually the final story by Luke in his gospel about what happened when Jesus was resurrected. And it may be that today you feel Jesus in some way that's meaningful to you is drawing near to you, and he's giving you little prompts, and he's just inviting you to consider this story. And if he's doing that, it's because he really has something wonderful for you ahead. And that little video finished with a prayer, and it may be that everyone here has prayed that prayer and is considered themselves a disciple of Jesus. But if that isn't a prayer you've ever prayed and you want to talk to us about that, There are plenty of people afterwards who'd be happy to explain that a bit further.